Hi everyone, it's me again today with a Q&A video for you. I've been getting some questions on the topics of my videos and I thought a great way of answering them would be with Q&A videos. This first one addresses the question if being proactive is a risk for our life as it is and our health. The two questions I'll be addressing concern my video on how to be more proactive. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it up here. And the questions are from Clemens. Thank you, Clemens, for these very thoughtful questions. Question number one, if proactivity means, amongst other things, to look for change, it also means risking to lose the advantages of the current situation. So to react, instead of being proactive, seems to be a safer way of life, at least in some areas. This is an interesting thought, and yes, being proactive and being aware of opportunities for change does harbor risks. You may change something and then something happens that you didn't expect to, and suddenly the new situation is worse than the old one. If you speak up a lot, others might perceive you as opinionated or even annoying, and that could have disadvantages for you in the future. I'm not saying this is good, it just happens. Or if you're always looking for improvement, you might miss on being happy and satisfied with life as it is in the now. On the other hand, choosing to live life more reactively instead of proactively also has its risk. We may completely miss out on living the life we want to live because we don't bother to ask that question or to do anything about it. We may miss out chances and opportunities. For example, a new opportunity may come up for another job or a shift in the job we're already at. But since we just react and see what will happen, nothing changes, because how will others know of our interest if we don't raise our hand? We may encounter a situation that we saw coming, but since we didn't proactively prepare for it, we just react in the moment when it's there. We might be facing a huge challenge that can become problematic even. Good example for this are tests and exams. We see them coming, but we can choose, do I want to prepare for it on the long run and start a couple months before, or do I want to react to the situation that the test is here on the night before the test? We might even suffer financial losses by being overly reactive, like when we continue to pay for monthly subscriptions we don't use anymore instead of proactively canceling the subscription and all the subsequent payments. And we may even lose everything about the situation we're currently in that we appreciate, because keeping up our current situation and protecting it also requires a certain amount of proactivity. So all in all, to answer this question, thinking about the pros and cons of a certain change like this is already a proactive act. A reactive way of dealing with a situation would be not to think about the pros and cons of an opportunity or a change that will come anyway, and then not making any change, not influencing the situation whatsoever, and then just seeing the pros and cons when they have already unfolded in my life and it is too late for me to do anything about it. So yeah, sometimes it can be the better choice to leave everything the way it is and not change if the stakes of what we might lose are too high. And proactivity is not so much about the actual decision we make for or against a change. It's more about asking ourselves that question at all. It's about thinking about the future, anticipating what might happen, and then preparing for that. And sometimes the best preparation is to just leave everything the way it is. Now on to question number 2. Proactivity also seems to be quite a stressful way of life, which entails a lot of health risks, as stress is one of the major factors influencing our immune system. Yeah, I think I get where you're coming from with this. And if we look at the 3 elements of proactivity, a focus on action, change, and the future, that does sound like a pretty stressful way of life. And in short, the answer is this depends on your values. Proactivity doesn't really say where your life will go. It's more of a catalyst that can make things happen. And to answer more elaborately, the first thought I'd like to share is that it's helpful to distinguish between being proactive and being overactive. If we are proactive, we have a healthy amount of focus on action, change in the future. And if we are overactive, we have an excessive amount of focus on action, change in the future. So yeah, if we overdo it, we can actually lead a more stressful life by being overly focused on changing, acting, and the future. So balance is one part of the answer. Another part of the answer is to look at what proactivity really is, because true proactivity can actually help us prevent stress if that is one of our goals and values. One way this happens is that being reactive actually means not planning. And by not planning, we can create a lot of stress in our life, because then we end up reacting to things last minute. And then we end up being in this constant firefighting mode. Also, being overly reactive can lead to us missing opportunities. And then later we might want to recreate those opportunities with a lot more effort and stress than if we would have just proactively seized it when it came along naturally. Being proactive also helps us anticipate our need for rest and restoration. And then we can schedule that in our calendars. Just like we anticipate that our phone needs to be recharged before it completely shuts off. Also, in a mainly reactive lifestyle, we have a victim mentality. And a victim mentality, this feeling that I can't influence situations, actually elicits an unhealthier stress response in the body than the agent mentality of feeling like I can influence and change things that comes along with being more proactive. So to sum up, being proactive means living according to goals and values. And if we make it part of our values to live a balanced and stressful life, being proactive can help us to make sure that this actually happens. If, on the other hand, we emphasize other values like economic growth, then yes, proactivity can lead to a stressful life. I'm curious to hear what all of you have to say about this. What are your thoughts and experiences with this topic? Let us know in the comment section. Also, if you have any questions after watching my videos or unrelatedly, don't hesitate to let me know, then I can answer them as part of this Q&A format. Take care for now, be proactive in the best way possible, and I'll be in contact with you again soon.